In the times of our trauma, when we begin to experience the pain of life, and Jonas and I grew up in this Amish and then Amish Mennonite family, and God was the center of our life, and I believed I wanted to be a good girl. My theology was that life is good, God is harsh, meaning I want to do everything really good. I accepted Jesus at the age of 12. But I wanted to be good for my parents. I wanted to please them and please God. Why not, right? And that was kind of what we were taught. And so Jonas and I were married at a very young age, and we ended up with 2 daughters at that time. And we just were very involved in the church, doing everything that any Christian would do, I suppose, family and church and community. And one day changed everything for us. And I think that I believed, couldn't have said it then, Bob, but I feel like I believe that if I do everything okay, God will bless us. And one day, all of that changed for us when our 19-month-old daughter was killed instantly on our little farmette as she was taking a walk to my mom's house. We lived in a double-wide trailer, my mom and dad, in the farmhouse, and we're right next to each other. And between us, there's a barn, and my sister was driving a bobcat, loading and unloading sand for my father. And that particular morning, she didn't see Angela as she was backing up to get a load of sand, and when she moved the bobcat forward, Angela was dead in front of her. She had driven over her accidentally. Well, Bob, let me tell you something. When your theology is life is good, God is harsh, as Angela made her ascend into heaven that morning, I knew where she went. But I began my very slow and gradual descent into a world of spiritual confusion and emotional pain. And so we're never prepared for trauma and tragedy in our lives. And yet, Jesus said, in this world you will have troubles. It's a guarantee, it's a promise. But he said, be of good cheer. I've overcome the world, and so you can too. And so in that moment, though, life changed for us as a couple, and we continued, of course, going to church and doing all the things. And my grief and the sadness and the longing and the confusion about why God just really gripped me for months. And after a couple of months, my pastor invited me to his office, and I was like happy to actually be able to talk to somebody about what I'm feeling, because I didn't want to talk about it because I didn't know how. Yeah. I mean, what do you say when you're in deep grief? It almost leaves you speechless. And so I went to his office and we talked, and before I left his office, he took advantage of me. And this is a very real part of my story. Angela's death really took me into deep grief, but the choice that I made after I left his office that day took me into the dark world of abuse of every kind for almost 7 long years. And the world of abuse, it's very common, and yet we don't like to talk about it. But I share this part of my story because I know there's so many listeners. They've experienced abuse of some sort, and they're stuck in that pain and feel like there's no way out. Well, my message to them is that there is a way out. And even though you feel stuck, you feel like it's dark, life is over, you're so bad. By now, I knew that I was not a good girl. I knew I was a bad girl. And I really knew in my heart that I had crossed the line of grace. Like I can never go back to the way
no
it
way
was.
Back.
And Satan had me in this very dark place. So anyway, it's a very long story, but it's all in my books. And the good news is that there is a way where there seems to be none. And one day, Holy Spirit within me just compelled me to get up off my knees, stop crying by my bed, which I did for 7 years, and go tell Jonas, my husband, my secret. And that's a whole other segment of your show. But I can tell you that was the beginning of a journey back to God, into my family, and getting to starting to believe in who God made me again. It was a very long time. But the redemption of Jesus is real, it's powerful, and it's available to anyone. I think that we just need to open up our lives and say, come on in.